welcome to another episode of Tongue to Tailbone. And I wanted to talk about if you are postpartum and if you notice teeth grinding. So in my practice as a physical therapist, I have been noticing, and it's also something that I'm also querying, so in my intake form, if someone is experiencing teeth grinding, clenching, if they're having any headaches, neck pain, jaw pain. But also I've been having moms just mention that themselves, that this is something that they're experiencing, and it's just been really, really annoying and debilitating, just painful. It's not something that they were expecting to have to deal with. And I want to take a couple of minutes just to talk about what are some of the things that could be leading to some of this teeth clenching and teeth grinding. So hope you enjoy this episode. And if you can, make sure that you subscribe, and so you can catch up on all of the other offerings that I have on Tongue to Tailbone. Great. So first we'll discuss positioning. And as a postpartum mom, especially early postpartum, you're probably spending a lot of time holding your newborn baby and also nursing or feeding. And a lot of the common positions that I tend to see most moms be in is definitely this rounded forward, because they are spending time holding their baby in arms, or also nursing. So they're doing, holding in this position and also looking down while they're nursing or feeding. And over time, that's going to create a lot of neck issues, some neck tension, some shoulder issues, and definitely also the other things that I see is just definitely some pain or discomfort in the arm, in the wrist as well too. But with that forward head position, our head is pretty heavy, and so then we're relying on our neck muscles really to do a lot of the work to help to hold up the weight of our head. And the jaw, especially the muscles around the jaw, are going to then feel a lot of that tension, and so they will tense up in order to just protect, essentially. And over time, postpartum, my mom might start to notice that they're clenching their teeth or even grinding their teeth, and a lot of that is because of that tension. So one of the things that can be helpful is just really monitoring, checking in with what your nursing feeding position is, and also how you're holding your baby as well. The other thing that is very prevalent is that motherhood, being a parent, is very stressful, and especially being a first-time mother or parent can be really, really stressful, especially if it's not something you've done before. There's a lot of sleep deprivation that's there. You're going in a totally different schedule compared to what you might have done before, and you're really dependent on what your baby's needs are, and so working around that. And when we are stressed, or even when we're anxious, then our cortisol stress level hormone will increase. And so when we have that increase, that's going to definitely bring on more of that fight or flight, kind of like a sensation in our bodies. And when we have that, if you've ever had to run away from a bear or a tiger or any type of stressful situation that you've had in your life, you notice that your body will tense up. So either you're going to grip at your belly, pelvic floor might tense up, or definitely we notice that in the shoulders, but the same thing can happen in the jaw, and we can see that there can actually be a lot of tension holding that is present there. When we're sleep deprived, then our body is also sensing all of that tension that's present. And so sleep deprivation, especially if we're not getting regular, good, deep quality sleep, then that can also show up even in our sleep. So it doesn't have to be just teeth clenching and grinding during the day. It can even occur while we're sleeping as well too. And it might be a moment, where we might not notice it during the day, and as soon as we fall asleep, that stress that is still present in our muscles will then show up, and then we'll also experience teeth clenching and grinding as well. So in postpartum, there can be a huge amount of hormone fluctuations, especially in early postpartum. As soon as we've had the baby, then both estrogen and progesterone tend to take a very big nosedive. And those hormones are very important. They're part of the central nervous system. The central nervous system helps to regulate the production of our hormones. And when that is impacted, then we're going to feel that effect. And so then that can definitely create some of that stress, anxiety that our body is feeling, thus leading to one particular symptom of teeth grinding and clenching. Again, not necessarily something that everybody's experiencing. The other thing is that estrogen, does play a really big role in our muscle, and it helps to preserve our muscle mass. It's what helps us to stay strong. We actually have estrogen receptors in our muscles. And when we are going through postpartum and we have that decrease in estrogen, it definitely will have a big impact on how our muscles are working and functioning. Then we also have to look at what was occurring or happening during childbirth. If childbirth was really long, if there was any type of birth trauma, if the mother was just having a really difficult time with being able to birth their baby, then, and especially if labor was really long or pushing was really long, then that teeth clenching and grinding are one of the things that can show up in the body and lead to bruxism, or which is that teeth grinding or clenching. One of the things that's really important, which I've spoken about in some other videos about the hidden link about like tongue posture and to the pelvic floor, is that when tongue posture is not optimal, which is up along the roof of the mouth, then that can definitely create a lot of tension in our jaw muscles. And when there's tension in the jaw muscles, then that can also create a lot of tension in the pelvic floor muscles. And so depending on what occurred during birth, during childbirth, during the pushing phase, during active labor, and if the mother was like just having a really difficult time with being able to breathe, or to be able to really advocate and voice their opinion of what it is that they want, that definitely creates a lot of closure and tightness around this area. And so then that can also be reflected in the pelvic floor as well. And so if that's something that a postpartum mom is experiencing or had experienced during childbirth, then that can still continue to lend itself even into the postpartum phase.